I'm going to show you a perfect UX UI portfolio for a person applying for a job in a marketing department or in an agency. Yet, if this person would be applying to a tech company, this portfolio might not be enough. But my hope that after watching this video, you will get a clear difference between marketing design and product design in the UX UI design field. I myself used to work in agencies for 9 years, and I used to be hiring designers all the time. And this portfolio that we're about to see would be a perfect example of a person and of a skill set that I was looking when I used to be working in agencies. So let's dive into it. First of all, I'd like to thank Anna for providing her portfolio for a review. I know that it could be stressful to put your portfolio in front of everyone, but I will do my best to highlight both good things and the things that can be improved so that Anna could take them into work if she wants that, and also you who are watching this video, you can use this knowledge and these insights in your own portfolios. And as I said, this for me would be a perfect example of a portfolio for a marketing related UX UI designer. First of all, I'd like to notice the layout, and I think the layout is amazing. It feels like it was handcrafted. It is not a template. At least I have never seen this type of template, although I'm very familiar with different templates, especially for the websites that are done in Framer. But it's also not a surprise. Usually people who are focused on the marketing side of the UX UI design, they also craft their own websites, and that considered to be the best practice. So here I would bet my money that this is not a template, and I very much like it. I also like that it is interactive. I like that it is a very simple design layout, yet it has some subtle color accents and the grid to keep my eyes entertained and to keep my eyes focused on what this designer wants me to see. And we can also see that we have 6 projects in this portfolio. That would be an indicator for me that this person is of a middle career or a senior career range. And as you can see, I have all the projects open and I'm ready to get a deep dive. For the first project, first of all, I very much like that we start with an interface, and I see right away a very nicely done mock-up, and I can assess already the level that awaits me. When I scroll further, I am able to see what this project is about. But I must say that I'm lacking some details a bit. I would very much love to know how this project was done. Was this person employed by this company, or is it a self-initiated project? By reviewing Anna's LinkedIn profile, I was able to say that this is likely a project that she self-initiated, or it is a freelance project, or maybe she did it during an educational program. But this is the information I personally don't want to guess, and I would prefer seeing this right away in the front page or in the second page, so I could assess the context the designer was working. Why do I even need the context? The thing is that the context the designer is placed is very much influence the UX design that we get at the end. If I will hire a designer from a very generic UX bootcamp to work at Apple tomorrow, believe me, this person will be showcasing the great level, because the context matters, and it also matters with whom you are working together. And also, if I place the very best person, the very best designer working in a suboptimal company where a CEO doesn't value the UX design, the result might also come out suboptimal. Because the UX design is a team exercise, and the UI design is also to a degree somehow context related, because if we are using the suboptimal design system, there is no surprises that the result we will get out of it will not be ideal. But UI design is easy to correct afterwards, whereas with the UX design part is really hard to fake working backwards. So I would prefer to have a quick note on this about how this project was done, but at the same time, it is not strictly a requirement for agency-focused portfolios, because UX design was probably not in the focus anyway, and we're going to see if this is true or not later on. But for the tech companies, it is very much necessary. Since I'm working right now not in an agency but in a big tech company, I cannot help but to assess this portfolio from both angles. So you, Anna, and the viewers who are focused on the marketing design, you can take it with a grain of salt, because this is the requirement for tech companies for me to assess the UX part. But let's move on with this case study and see what's in there down below. And we can see that this is the AI generated picture. I don't have anything against AI generated pictures, provided that they are done with the quality. I think that this picture was done not recently, and the AI model has done some weird mistakes and left some artifacts. And that for me looks a bit weird, and it looks a bit like creepy. So if I could make a suggestion here, is that just make this picture generated one more time, but with a newer version of the model, because I don't think they will be leaving those artifacts nowadays. But let's skip this part, because as I said, I have nothing against using AI extensively in your workflow. Especially it is important for UI focused designers, because there you will be using these models all the time. And I think overall the idea of this photo or this generated picture I very much like. It sets up the tone, and I could kind of get the vibe of the project that awaits me. Let's move on and let's see what was done there exactly for this project. As in a typical marketing focused or agency focused portfolio, we don't know a lot about the context, and it is also not necessary for us to know. We can dive right away in the results of the work that was done. I think I was explaining it multiple times in various videos, but for here I just want to emphasize that when you are applying in a tech company, we are very much interested in your process, in the interim stages, in the alignments that you did for the team, because UX design is a team exercise, and you will have to somehow showcase how skillfully were you doing this exercise, how skillfully were you facilitating the team dynamics. Whereas in an agency, we don't have this dynamic to facilitate for the start, and we are working with a predefined brief with our client. This brief is usually predefined on the point of sales, and we are then working with it going forward. We can maybe negotiate some parts here and there, but the gist will stay untacked. So that means that the UX design part is more or less set, and what is expected from a designer working in an agency is to just execute on what was agreed in a project brief. There is no problem with that at all. I was actually enjoying working like that for many years, and this portfolio is completely compliant with my expectation as a hiring manager from an agency or from a marketing department to go straight to the results. So we see that this project consists of the branding and the UI parts. And we can then scroll down to assess the branding, and I must say I very much like it. It looks fresh, it looks very modern, it looks approachable, and this is what I would also expect for a project like that to be able to showcase. And we can also see some bits and pieces of the final UI to somehow get the idea of how this overall style was implemented to the actual product. And you see, we've reached the end of the project quite fast. We don't have a lot of the story, we don't have a lot of the context about the challenge that we were facing. That is, for me, a project for the overall brand refresh. And this is also a typical task an agency is working with. That happens because companies don't need a brand refresh every year. So it does not make sense for them to keep specialists that can do that in-house. It makes sense for them to outsource this work to agencies or to freelancers and so on. And here, as I would be hiring this person probably for an agency, I would be completely satisfied with the result. I would have nothing to add. I would be thrilled because I can see that this person can do both a brand refresh and the UI rehaul. Yet, if I would be hiring this person for a tech company, for me, this work would still be impressive, but sort of insufficient, because we jumped too fast to the execution, and this will never happen in a tech company, because as I said, in a tech company we place a lot of emphasis on the part of the user experience design and the part of how skillfully a designer works with the team expectations, with the stakeholder alignment, and so on and so on, and also what interim stages did you have and how did you present them to whom in order to get to the result that you had. But it's just for you, for the context. I did not speak with Anna, so I don't know her career aspirations, but I had a look on her LinkedIn page and I can tell that she is working in the marketing department indeed, and my hope that she's satisfied working in there, and this portfolio will help her to move forward with her career. This is my genuine belief, provided that her career will stay on the marketing agency UX UI design track. Let's move on to the next project, because there is also something interesting to see. This project looks to me as being self-initiated, and I have nothing against it. Moreover, I am happy to see more self-initiated projects and experiments and redesigns in portfolios of agency-based and marketing-based designers, because I am not that focused on the business side and the business impact. I am focused on the execution, and I need to assess the execution level as of today. And it often happens with people who are working in marketing departments that they are stuck working with the design system, and they produce landing pages and the corporate websites reholes using the same marketing design system. And in order for them to break out of this cycle and to show everything they are capable of, it is almost all the time necessary to create a separate self-initiated project. So this project I also very much like. I like the experiment with the typography. I think it looks very refreshing. We cannot assess a lot of this project because this project is not having the actual final result, but hopefully we will be able to see it soon, and when Anna will be applying to the jobs, if that's her intention, she will add there something, because definitely the start of this project is setting me up to learn more. By the way, if you like this video and you want to receive more videos like that, give me thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. That's important for me and for YouTube to start recommending you similar videos. And we're moving on. Let's move on to the next project, and the next project is again a combination of the branding and the app redesign. And what I like about this project is that it is done for a very famous company in Germany. You might not know about this company if you are not living in Germany, but having projects for the brands that will be potentially recognized by your hiring managers, it's almost always a good idea, because I am getting hooked to it. I am also a user of this company, and I can then assess the application and the user experience that I have at hand with this proposed redesign, and that will make my assessment more engaging and more meaningful. So we can see here that it is indeed the combination of branding and the app redesign. And when we are scrolling through the case study, we see a mix of some wireframes and some UI design examples with the branding styles. Let's move on. So you see here, I like it very much, because indeed, if the company like that will be ever considering the brand update, they will probably reach out to a solo designer or to an agency to do that and to provide them a package. And again, Anna is showing me that she's capable to do that. And if I were a person from an agency that is also focused and specialized on these brand reholes, I will be thrilled to see that. And that for me will be an instant yes. So I would definitely call Anna for an interview, and I would very much love to meet her. So let's move on and let's reach the end of the case study so that we can get the whole picture. So as you can see, it is very, very nicely done. I have no questions to Anna execution skills. But I wanted to give here a small disclaimer. And this disclaimer is not diminishing the work that Anna has been doing and the skills that she has. My guess is she's interested to work in an agency or in the marketing department going forward, but technically what we see here on the screen is a product design. So this is virtually an app that will allow me to book a doctor appointment. And in a real company, those departments will be separated. I'm talking about the marketing department and the product department. There will be people in the organization that will be maintaining this marketing design and branding looks. And there will be people who will be working on improving the user experience design of the actual product. And although this project consists of both sides, in the reality, especially in a big company, there will be no one person who will do both sides. But an agency will do exactly that because they will use the product as one of the mediums to show the new brand. Basically, when a company comes for a digital redesign, they ask for both provide them some artifacts to work on the landing pages and maybe to work even on the physical products. But for the most companies, the major product and the major artifact that they show to people is a digital product, is a service of some sort. That's why an agency is forced to somehow apply the style to a digital product that exists. But that will not make this digital rehaul a product design exercise. It will be just a UI exercise. It is done for me to see how this new style will look in all of my points of contacts with clients. What is the difference between the product design side there? The thing is that in the product design side, we usually have a product development cycle. It means that we usually define the problem, then we brainstorm on the solution, then we execute the solution, and then we test it, then we learn from it, and then we go to the next cycle. And also usually we go a bit more in depth on the user needs, on their perception, on the results that we get from the usability tests. Here I have no usability tests to see. I have no product problem. I have a marketing problem. A marketing problem is that the design is outdated, and this is a real problem that causes companies money. And this problem is skillfully solved there with the combination of branding and the UI rehaul. But an example of a product problem will be something different. A product problem would be something like, how can we integrate these features seamlessly to a product? Or how can we update the UI without losing on the user experience and actually learning from the user experience that exists already? So a product design person who would be doing the same exercise with updating the design system, because that could also happen, would probably be comparing the status quo that they had before and the updated version. And on the way to the updated version, they would probably have to do a bit more trade-offs, a bit more compromises, because they will be caught into the team dynamic that will be defining the user experience eventually. So because we don't have this part in this portfolio, that is for me a project that solves a marketing problem, and there is nothing wrong with that, provided that you want to work on marketing problems going forward. So if that is your aspiration, Anna, then it is the right way to go. If by adding those projects in your portfolio you hope to get a job in a tech company, there it might be a problem there. So I would maybe, if I were you, if that is your aspiration, of course I don't know, I would start applying with this portfolio to the tech companies and I would see what I get as a result. If the result that you get is not what you want, then the problem is in the marketing websites and in the marketing problems overall. Because I am, as a hiring manager from the product team, I would love to see a person solving product problems, not marketing problems, because I'd love to see some evidence for them being capable to do that. But overall, for a marketing design portfolio, no questions. Let's move on and review next projects, because there are also some interesting things and approaches that Anna takes. This project is actually a project from a real company. I had a look at Anna's LinkedIn page to get a look about her experience overall, and apparently she's working in this company right now. And we can see some examples or some screens and visualizations that were done during her time there. And we can already see that comparing to the previous projects, apparently she had some real world constraints because the UI does not look that refined. It looks nice indeed. I also have no problems with that. It looks for me like a genuine and very well made page for a tech company in order for them to explain the product to users. But comparing to the previous project where Anna had no limitations, there I can clearly see that maybe there was a sign-off process, or maybe a design system was not ideal. I think maybe Anna even improved the UI afterwards before adding it to her portfolio. But what I'm telling it here, I don't think that Anna was working specifically on this design. I think if she would be doing the actual product page for this company, she would be doing that much better than what I see here. But that is also the reality of the B2B products. They often look like that, and it's not a problem provided that the user experience is consisting of what people want there. But it is also actually nice to see some actual real world examples, because otherwise without this project I might get into the idea that this person is still studying UX UI design, and maybe she signed up to a fantastic UX UI design course, or maybe she had found a mentor and this mentor helped her to execute on the previous 3 projects. But seeing that this is a piece of a real work, I can also tell that she's experienced working on a team, she's experienced working with real life constraints, and actually that benefits her portfolio and my perception of her seniority. I'd like to also move to the next projects because these projects are a bit different from what we see. The next 2 projects are self-initiated design experiments. These are actually designs about her life in Belgrade and in Hamburg. So this is a pure branding exercise, or a pure graphic design exercise, if we can tell so. And this is even an editorial work in my mind. And it is actually also very, very nice for an agency. It is exactly what we want to see. We want to hire people for agencies that possess multiple skills at once, because it's very rare when clients come to agencies with one narrow task. It's usually they ask for a combination, they ask for a package like a brand rehaul, and then they need a logotype, they need a new typography, and they also need the UI rehaul. And if this would be a company that also issues a magazine, for example, because that could also happen working in an agency, then I could see how skillfully Anna is working with typography and with the editorial layout, and how well she's also organizes this project in her portfolio, because in an agency I would also very much appreciate to hire a designer who can then organize the project for the actual agency website in a very nice and elegant way. So look at this project, it is really nicely done indeed. Once I'm in Belgrade, I will definitely check out Anna's guide. And here the same we can see for the Hamburg guide, and this is a completely different style, showing me as well how well Anna is working in different styles, with different branding, with different mood boards and different typography. So I love it because it has a completely different vibe to it, because I would also assume that Hamburg has a different vibe from Belgrade, and I can see it from the style itself. I can even maybe see a bit of her mood when she was living there. So I like these projects. They show the range of her skills. They are getting me interested. They show that she's also interested and open to experiments, and she is working on different ideas to improve her craft. So very, very nicely done, and exactly a spot on thing for an agency focused portfolio. So here I wanted to thank Anna one more time for providing us this example for review. And I hope you get my idea that I'm very much excited for your career and for your future in marketing design or in an agency. I think you are very well set. Of course, a portfolio is only a beginning of a job search and there are different components to it. I have not seen you performing on your job interviews, but provided that you have all of that in place, I think you can start on a job search if that is your goal in the near future with this portfolio exactly. At the same time, for those of you who are watching this video and who want to work in a tech company, because I guess you are the majority here on this channel, because my recent work is also a work in a tech company as a product designer, then you might take into account the disclaimers that I was giving throughout this video. Try to show me more of your actual design process. Don't jump to the final result straight away, because I'm interested to know how big is your part was on the beginning of the product development process, in the problem definition phase, in the solution design phase, and how did you pitch the ideas, what concept designs did you have on the path, what went well, what went wrong, how did you organize the usability tests, what did you learn from the usability tests. And this portfolio hopefully will serve you as an inspiration for the UI design and for the layout, but also as an example of a different approach to UX UI design that you should not take applying to the tech companies going forward, because otherwise I will assume that you want to work on the marketing design and you want to solve marketing design problems. It is the problem of a brand refresh, it is a problem of a user conversion, it is a problem of the style consistency across different mediums, and so on and so on. Whereas in the product design world, we're usually focused on adding new features, improving the experience, maybe updating the product UI as well, but from a different perspective. We are always comparing what we do with the previous experience in order not to make it worse. Now, hopefully you have a good idea about the difference of marketing and agency focused portfolios and the product design portfolios. If you want your portfolio to be reviewed in the same format, then check out the link down below. It is completely for free, but you will get the advice that you can either take or leave, because I'm not going to interact with you necessarily, but hopefully you can benefit from my fresh eyes and my fresh perspective, because I have no idea what your career aspirations at the moment of you publishing this portfolio. So maybe you can also find my view helpful. And if you like this video and you want to receive more videos like that, then hit the subscribe button down below and click the bell. This way you will get a notification when a new video comes out. And I see you next time.